Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into DSS Incorporated's latest filing, and let's just say things are looking, well, let's decode it together. Before we jump in, if you enjoy getting the real scoop from corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed, and if you want to chat more about these insights, we have a Discord community linked in the description below. Alright, so what we are looking at here is a current report, basically a snapshot of important events that a company like DSS Incorporated has to tell all its investors about quickly. Think of it as the company saying, hey everyone, something new happened and you need to know. The big news dropped on the 3rd of December 2025, and it centers around their annual meeting of stockholders. This is where the folks who own a piece of the company, the shareholders, get together to make some key decisions. This is DSS Incorporated, the company we are dissecting today. Now, what kind of company are we talking about? Well, they have common stock, which is pretty standard for publicly traded companies, and it is traded on the NYSE American under the ticker symbol DSS. The main reason for this report is to let us know what happened at that important shareholder meeting. It is all about what the owners of the company voted on and what the results were. So, on the 3rd of December, DSS Incorporated held its 2025 annual meeting. This is where all the important votes happen that shape the company's direction. And guess what? A huge chunk of the company's shares, over 83%, were represented at this meeting, either by people showing up or by proxies giving their vote. That is a really strong turnout, which means the decisions made there carry a lot of weight. A quorum means enough people were there to officially make decisions. The first big vote was to elect the company's directors. These are the people who oversee the company's strategy and management. And good news for the current board, all of the nominated directors were approved to serve until the next annual meeting. This shows confidence in the current leadership team guiding the company. Next up, they ratified, which means they officially approved the appointment of HTL International LLC to be their independent public accounting firm. Basically, these are the auditors who will check the company's financial statements to make sure everything is in order and reported honestly for the year. It is a routine but crucial step in maintaining trust with investors. And finally, in what is called an advisory vote, the shareholders also gave their thumbs up to the compensation of the company's top executives. This is an advisory vote, meaning shareholders give their opinion, but the board actually makes the final decision on pay. It is a way for the company to gauge shareholder sentiment on executive pay. Now, let's look at the numbers that really tell the story. For the election of the directors, each individual director received significant for votes. For example, Ambrose Chan Hung Fai got over 6.1 million. For votes, all the directors were overwhelmingly approved, with a vast majority of votes cast in their favour. This indicates strong shareholder support for the current board members. The against votes were relatively small in comparison, showing a strong consensus among shareholders. For Ambrose Chan Hung Fai, there were just over 127,000 against votes. And then there are the broker non-votes. This is where shares are held by a broker on behalf of a client, but the broker did not receive instructions on how to vote these shares. A substantial number, like the 1366582 for each director, indicates a significant portion of shares were held in this manner. While not a direct vote against, it suggests a degree of disengagement or undecidedness from some shareholders through their brokers. Moving on to the ratification of the auditors, the results here are even more decisive. A massive 7,401,486 votes were cast for the appointment of HTL International, LLC. This really highlights strong shareholder confidence in the chosen audit firm. There were only 178,858 against votes in comparison. This is a very small number relative to the total votes, showing very little opposition to the appointment of the accounting firm. And there were 39,793 abstain votes, meaning shareholders who were present chose not to vote either for or against. When it came to approving executive compensation on an advisory basis, the shareholders were also in favour. Over 6.2 million votes were cast for approving the compensation packages provided to the company's top brass. The against votes here were quite low at just 31,186. This suggests that most shareholders felt the executive pay was reasonable or acceptable at this time. Again, we see those broker non-votes, a little over 1.3 million, indicating shares held by brokers without specific voting instructions. So, what does this all mean for DSS Incorporated? The shareholder meeting basically showed strong endorsement for the company's current leadership and its chosen auditor. The overwhelming support for the directors and the accounting firm signals that, at least for now, shareholders are comfortable with the way the company is being run and overseen. The advisory approval of executive compensation further reinforces this sentiment of general satisfaction. However, it is important to remember that the majority of these votes are in favour. And the broker non-votes, while not a direct negative, represent a sizable portion of shares that weren't actively directed. This is something to keep an eye on. It could mean that while there is no strong opposition, there might also not be overwhelming enthusiastic backing from all shareholders. It is a calm sea, perhaps, but not necessarily a roaring vote of confidence from every single owner. Looking at the bigger picture, the company seems to be navigating its corporate governance smoothly, at least from the perspective of this shareholder meeting. The focus now shifts to how the company levers this stability to drive future growth and performance. We'll be keeping a close watch on their future filings to see if this internal alignment translates into external success. Alright, that is our breakdown of DSS Incorporated's latest shareholder meeting report. What is your take on these results and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more corporate deep dives. And don't forget to check out the Discord for more discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.